on to our agenda. The first item on our agenda, sorry, I'm using two screens at the moment. Needs must. We've got our welcome, so we've done our welcome to everybody, and we can move on to the second one, which is apologies for absence. So have we had any apologies for our agenda?
Yes, there's Councillor Graham sending her apologies.
Thank you. I hope that Councillor Graham feels well soon. I know that she's been doing lots of help at the vaccination centre, which is absolutely wonderful. Our third agenda item is declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations of interest from members or officers? No. Brilliant, thank you. The second one is the public question time and participation. I don't believe we have any members of the public present and arranged, so we can move on to agenda 5, which is minutes for decision. So the minutes are attached, and if we're happy with those with no amendments, do we have, I can see there, Deputy Mayor, was that to suggest the minutes for approval?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And Councillor Abberton wishes to second, I can see. So can we vote on that one, please? Brilliant, I think that's passed, no problem. Next one is a progress report for noting, which is to receive the progress report following the last meeting. So I wonder if Sarah wants to say a few words about that before we note it.
The progress report isn't mine, is it? Is that?
It's Pip. Yeah, I can say a few words.
Sorry, apologise.
Fine. Okay, so starting from number 1, you were successful in the £13,750 budget allocation for next financial year. Members approved the community development ideas list for £10,000. There'll obviously be discussions later in this evening about that. Work started and will continue, that's correct, but again there's more in Sarah's officer report, and that's pretty much the same at number 4. Councillor Shahid is the 3rd representative for the Town Plan Steering Group meetings in the absence of the chair or the vice chair. The youth service have been made aware that their cycling fund request was rejected and were offered alternative methods of applying for funding. The Utley Baby Memorial and the community shop are both on this agenda. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you very much for that, Pip. So that's brilliant. So that's just for us to know, and we don't need to vote on that, but I'm sure everyone wants to say thank you very much for your continued hard work. I can see Councillor Abberton has her hand up.
I was actually trying to suggest that Councillor Anayat wanted to have a word.
Can you unmute Councillor?
You can go first, Claire, if you want. I didn't notice.
I was actually trying to recognise that you were coming in.
Okay. There's just a small question. Not sure whether it's relevant here, but it's been in my mind as I was reading this paperwork is, do we ever look for external funds for some of these cohesion community type projects? You know, for a principal authority, for example, like Bradford Council, they have opportunities to bid for pots from central government, which come about now and then. And there's and the majority of the pots that they, as a principal authority, would bid for from the communities department, as an example, relate to work similar to what is captured in this particular report. And the question I'm just raising is that does our council actually look around for funding, or do they have a process whereby they get information of funding for these type of projects? That's my question.
Would you like me to answer that, Councillor Cooper? Right, okay. Yeah, there are a couple of instances where we would seek funding. There are different venues, so it might be that we get things through via email through our liaison with YLCA, SLCC. We've got funding emails that come through from Bradford through their community service organisations. But we also seek funding if it's for a particular project. It might not necessarily always come through as a funding application. So Sarah Barnes is currently completing an application for Operation Steerside. So we'll be looking at that one. The trees, the partnership with the Environment Agency, it's not an actual funding application, but it's a resource application. So that's almost complete in terms of the contract. But yeah, we're definitely open to suggestions, and it might be that we can look towards the central government and see if we could look at applying for any of their funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Pip. And that's a really good answer. That sounds like something that'd be really lovely for us. You know, if there was the opportunity, I'm sure we'd all be really pleased to have the chance to apply to any central government pots. So that's a really nice thing to raise that we might want to look at again in the future if it comes up. Thank you, Councillor Inayat. So we can move on once we've noted that. Our seventh item is the budget, which we recently voted to pass in the full council. So do we have any updates to receive on the budget?
In a second. You can see that there's been small spends according to this budget sheet. There's been a little bit more spend than what you can see on this one at this current time. But other than that, and according to the next agenda items, it pretty much is as it is until after you've made some decisions tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pip. I know that I've heard a lot of people saying that the budget is really, really well balanced and that people have worked really hard on that. So thank you to everyone in the Finance Committee for working so hard in such a challenging year as well. Next one is a town plan, which is for decision. So we can note the attached report relating to the town plan and we can vote on that. So is it Sarah that I believe is giving us that report, or is that you, Pip?
It'll be me again. Just basically, again, it's just so that we look at the town plan as a committee and look how well your committee's been doing in terms of the actions for this year, especially for the ongoing actions and the short-term actions. A report will be coming out quite soon, which will go to full council and town plan steering group with kind of like a bit of a yearly update on how well we've progressed through these actions, which you can see we have achieved or are in the process of achieving quite a lot of work towards each of those key objectives. So well done.
Sorry, if I look as though I'm looking at something else, I've got my agenda on another screen, so.
No, I identify with that. I'm doing the same. So that is for decision. So we've noted that. So if it's for decision, do we need somebody to propose that we accept that?
So proposed.
Thank you. And seconded by Councillor Abberton, I can see there. I do apologise, I can only see 4 people at a time on my screen, so I'm trying to flick through to see other people. But if I miss you, it really isn't personal, so if I would appreciate some help on that. Thank you, everybody. Our next one is the project worker report for decision. And project worker report, this one is Sarah. I think I'm right this time.
I'll own up to that one. I'll just do a brief overview of what's in it. It sort of takes the reading to take it all on board, but the updates include the festive craft bags, which we carried out in December, which was a really successful thing. Obviously, more people being involved would be marvellous, but under the circumstances, they were packed and got out, and it was brilliant. And working together with Mark Ellis to get them out was a really good thing. Keith the Graphic, the befriending thing, A Seat with a View, and the environmental improvement groups all have ongoing forward motion. Still in development are the fairy doors, people's planters, and the pop-up markets. And then within the report, there's some suggestions of funding reallocation. So when I brought the list in November, a lot of the projects were post-COVID, and obviously we're still very much in COVID. So to the suggestions to still make use of the budget so that we can still use it this financial year and not lose the money. So yeah, I'm bringing that forward to sort of up some of the ones that exist. There aren't any new projects within there specifically. The only thing would be the site-specific theatre budget, which the suggestion is to split it to include the money that I know we want to be able to allocate towards Utley Baby Memorial, and still keep some of it theatre related with the purchasing of a stage. But that's sort of a brief-ish overview of what's in there.
Thank you very much. I can see Councillor Clarkson wants to ask something there.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. I do have a question for Sarah, but first, I just want to clarify, did we move to a vote on the last item? Because obviously, if we didn't, we should probably do that, but I might be mistaken, I might have just turned my head away. But my question for Sarah would be, with regards, maybe even Pip, but with regards to the environment, is that something we as a committee can do? Are we able to establish new budget headings with environments? Because obviously I think we can do, and I believe we can, but I just want to clarify that, because in other committees there's been sort of ongoing discussion with regards to that topic.
Yeah, I can answer that one. Yeah, so basically Sarah's inviting you to change the budgets. Then if you agree those changes or not, you might have different amendments, then that request would then go to Finance and Audit. So it's your decision initially because it's your budget. And then if you did want to via pieces of other budgets towards other projects, then that would be off to Finance.
Okay, thank you very much, Pip.
Thank you, Pip, and thank you, Councillor Clarkson. I think you're correct. We didn't move to the vote. We had a seconder, and we had a suggester, and we do need to vote on that. You are quite right. It's me moving ahead because I'm struggling to see everybody on this screen. So can we just take a vote on that previous item so that we've dotted our I's and crossed our T's, please, everybody? Brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry about that. So we've looked at our project worker report. Has everyone had a chance to look through it and look at those items that were suggested that we juggle the budget around a little bit? Do we have anybody who wants to comment on those, or are we feeling happy with them for the time being? Just flicking through, seeing if anyone has raised their hand. No? I've had a look through the suggestions on there to move the budget around. Look to me to be a good way to make sure that we're doing as much as we can. So if everyone's happy, I'm happy for us to vote on that as is. Do we have a proposer for that, please? Councillor Bernardini and Councillor Clarkson, I saw you quickly afterwards, so you've got a seconder as well. Shall we vote on that, please? Thank you, everybody. Moving on, we've got our Keithley Graphic judging panel to nominate 3 members to choose the winners in each category. And I remember from reading in the notes that we didn't get quite as many as we hoped for, but we did get some for each category, and we've got enough to judge, and that we will be padding that out with photographs from councillors when we come to display them, which is brilliant because we'll be able to get some of our photos in as well. And I know that lots of us have taken some beautiful ones. So we need to select 3 members who'd like to judge. Do we have anybody who's really keen to do that? I think that would be good.
Only because I like photography.
Brilliant. I can see that the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Abertin would both love to do that. Is there anybody else who would like to be involved who has the time for that? I know I'd also love to have a go, so that would be 3 of us that have put ourselves forward.
There's
Okay.
Councillor Shahid as well.
Abdul said,
Who was that? Sorry, Councillor Shahid, Abdul Shahid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Councillor Shahid, fantastic. So shall we have Councillor Shahid, the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Abertin? I'm happy to.
I'm quite happy, Samantha. If you go ahead with it, it's no problem.
Oh no, don't worry. I am
No.
more than happy.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
That's great.
No worries. So everyone happy to vote for Councillor Shahid, the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Abertin? Brilliant. Fantastic. I really look forward to seeing those. Our next one is the Black Lives Matter for decision, which is to receive a report and to think about what further steps we can take to make sure that we're doing something in the time of COVID, because again, a lot of the things we were planning to do are a little bit challenging at the moment.
The report basically outlines all the things that we wanted to be able to do in a way. I know Councillor Anayat sent through a really useful email earlier. And maybe it is that we look towards what we can do when we can do it. So that it'd be great to hear everyone's ideas from my point of view, to be able to move forward, but maybe it's not an immediate forward because of the restrictions that we're under.
Brilliant. Councillor Naya, you sent an email. Do you want to give us a little overview of what that was?
Yeah, it was just a couple of thoughts I had on the Black Lives Matter, and particularly I was thinking that one of the things that are most useful and are being done universally is getting celebrities or people that are well known in the community to come forward and send out positive messages, or highlight certain things, their experiences, for example. And I thought that sport is a high profile area and is being used widely, you know, whether it's in the States or over here. And so I thought perhaps the Cougars and perhaps the cricket club going into the summer could actually play a part where we could have, say, for example, 2 players, you know, that are well known, one from a diverse background and one from the Indigenous community. You know, either they do a video clip, or which we can put on our website, or they do something with Keighley News. Keighley News actually could pioneer and push this through their medium, you know, if they do it properly. And it's just getting that message out, and it's probably resonating with young people, and particularly people who follow those particular sports. And the other idea I just put forward was maybe talking to a couple of the local secondary schools who are quite proactive in those kind of things, or they have a diverse cohort of children, and maybe getting their digital people and their arts people who are in themselves looking for ideas to engage their young people as they're, you know, preparing lessons, for example, and to engage them to see how we as a council can support them in order to do those particular things. And I think they're quite fairly simple to do. It wouldn't involve a lot of work, you know, from whether councillors or the staff, but it's a case of leading certain things. And I also believe that we may have one of our tenants. Does she not have a connection with Cougars? Not sure if she's around. So, you know, it's like being innovative and looking at links like that and pursuing them. But I think more importantly, and I put this in the email, I copied Julie in particularly because she was at last night's meeting, is what we were talking about last night is how can we better promote the council to our public, our constituents, you know, in relation to what the council is doing. And I just thought that these two ideas would fit very nicely in that particular piece of work as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Councillor Nyatt. That was really excellent to hear. Deputy Mayor, I can see that you want to comment. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to really follow up. I really concur, especially the Cougars. I think it would be great if we could get them on board, and I'm sure we could do something with Sima, who is in the office, Councillor Nyatt, to get a little bit of a contact down there. The schools as well is great. I'm just wondering as well, and I know this is a long shot, but maybe we could approach a couple of the football, the bigger, you know, Leeds United's only down the road at the end of the day, and it's got quite a few followers. I'm happy to maybe send something.
Julie, if I was still in Blackburn, the first port of call for me would have been Blackburn Rovers, who I had a fantastic relationship with in these kind of things.
It would be great, but it's the wrong side of the border.
Yeah, I've even worked with Accrington Stanley, who were fantastic. But but your point is a valid one. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I think if we could approach, you know, Leeds United, it'd be great, and I'm sure we could do some arm twisting between us, Sarah. But I think it's a fabulous idea. So,
and can I say, sorry, through the chair, Sarah, if there's any support or anything that I can do, then by all means, I'm at the end of an email or a phone call. I'm willing to help in those kind of things. And, you know, I've done these kind of things in the past, so I'd be able to lend, you know, more advice, etc. Yeah.
That's really brilliant. Thank you very much, everyone. Those are some really good ideas. I think we'll definitely get onto those things. So that was an item for decision. So I think that from what I've heard from Councillor Nyatt and from our Deputy Mayor, I think that getting sports personalities and working with schools is a really great way to engage with this really positively and to really think about how we can foster that relationship between our young people and our police service. So do we have a proposer to act on that as we've discussed it tonight? Councillor Abberton. And a seconder for that, please. I saw our Deputy Mayor, I saw you quite quickly there. So shall we vote on that, everyone, please? Brill, my hand is up. I'm just looking to see that that's passed. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Chair, sorry, Chair. Yeah, can I just suggest on the back of that in terms of next steps? I mean, the Deputy Mayor's already mentioned Sima, who we could talk to see if she can support some kind of link, a proposal. But in terms of the schools, it would be good if an email could be prepared. By all means, copy myself in, even the Deputy Mayor, so that we know what's going on and we can kind of input. If you want to do an email, say to 2 or 3 of the schools, saying, you know, this proposal has come up within our community development committee, and this is the idea, and is there anything that you would be interested in as a start for 10?
That's really, really helpful. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to, for us to do something like that if we could, please. I know that obviously I work in a primary school, and we do a lot about people who help us. So we do a lot of positive relations with the police anyway. I know that our children are so very young that but you know, it's still looking towards the future. So what I can do is I can get that up as well, and I'll send it through to Sarah to show the sort of things that we do with the little children about working with our local police officers and getting to know them. Councillor Abberton, I can see you've got your hand up there.
I just wanted to say that Councillor Peter Corkindale is a great personal friend of the chair of the Cougars. So I think that he would be a great person for you to go to as well.
Brilliant suggestion. Am I right in thinking that the mayor is a former police officer himself? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's got a lot of experience in that area as well, which is brilliant. I'm sure he'll be delighted to foster that positive relationship. Thank you.
So was your deputy mayor.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly, Julie. Exactly.
Fantastic. That should be something that we can mention on the website as well, that we, as a people, we do have our own positive relationship with the police service, in that we have some former officers among us. Fantastic. Thank you. Our next item is the Utley Baby Memorial funding request, which has been discussed in the project worker report. So, Sarah, do you mind giving us a short reminder of that, please?
I will. So yeah, we've split the funding that was earmarked for site-specific theatre. We had a discussion last time, and I know you, Chair, were very keen to support Utley Baby Memorial, and Councillor Abberton spoke about it, and everyone thought it was very important. So we've taken, because we'd already allocated the money, we've moved some things around to make sure that funding's become available.
Thank you very, very much for that.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So that is noted, and noted with a great deal of joy, because I think it's a very worthy project. And thank you to Councillor Abberton for your remarkable work on that. Very worthy. Our next one is a community shop, which is for noting, which is a feasibility study and detailed report, is going to be presented in the next financial year. So for the moment, it's just for us to note. Brilliant, thank you. So the next agenda item is the date of the next meeting. Before I fully go through that one, oh, sorry, Zachary. I noticed reading through that there was mention in there of the benches and the view. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I'll speak to Sarah about what something that I was going to add for that. The date of our next meeting is Wednesday, the 7th of April at 6:00 p.m. That's the date for the hearing. Sorry, Deputy Mayor.
Councillor Shahid wants to speak.
Yeah, I just want to add something regarding further item for discussion. I don't know if it's appropriate to regarding this. I don't know, but can we all decide on that? You see, I was thinking, as we are the community development group in Keighley Council, we don't have that much power to do certain things to touch with the Bradford Council. Is there any way we could discuss about this to get a bit more power in this committee to decide certain things and certain items that we could move and do, you see? Such as, like, you know, like we even to remove a bench or remove anything from Bradford property, such as the light or putting a sign up or anything like that. So can we get some, you know, power that we could develop anything towards in Keighley? We have that certain power. Can we talk about this, or can we do anything about this to get a bit more power on this?
Deputy Mayor.
I understand where you're coming from, Councillor Shahid. I think it's something to add to the agenda. I mean, it's not an item to discuss now because it isn't an agenda item, but I'm sure our assistant town clerk will be very, very helpful at the future meeting when it is on the agenda, because she really is the best person who can tell you how Bradford works. I mean, there's certain things that we unfortunately cannot do without input from Bradford, but why not put it on the agenda for the next council, the next committee meeting?
Yeah, that's what I decided. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Brilliant, thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Shahid. So that is an agenda item. As always, if anybody has any further agenda items that they'd like to add, you can contact us to get those added. But up until that point, we'll close the meeting and say thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Brilliant as always to see your face. I can see Councillor Bernardini has raised his hand. Councillor Bernardini?
No, just
Oh.
going
Bye-bye.
Say thank you very much to everybody and do stay safe.